Next, Ellen. What's next for J-Lo and A-Rod?
So maybe you two will have children?
What is it with you?
Plus, the hero from the Waffle House shooting.
Ellen, today at 3 on NBC4. Then, News 4, breaking down every twist of the D.C. Mansion murders.
You give me DNA, you can take that to the bank.
And uncovering evidence that could change everything.
So you think there might be someone else?
A News 4 special event, tonight at 6:30.
We're in the business of going fast, and so are the teams, and they push it to the absolute limits and sometimes over it, and that's what happens.
And the full credit to Shane, he just merged into the family as if he'd been there all along.
I was embarrassed for that race to restart in Tasmania. Dumb shit like that just isn't acceptable.
From the racetracks across Australia, and here's Inside Supercars.
And welcome to Supercars this week. It's Tony Whitlock on a regular basis, back again with Craig Ravel. An interesting weekend, Craig?
Well, it was a quiet weekend with Father's Day and all, so I hope everyone enjoyed their Father's Day weekend if it were applicable to them.
Motorsport-wise, of course, we had IndyCar happening in the States with Scott Dixon closing on another title, and we had Daniel Ricciardo, unfortunately, again retiring from a race. There was some domestic racing going on here, which happened at Winton with the production cars. Good to see Grant Denyer and Tony D'Alberto showing speed and winning. But we're getting ready, coming up to Sandown in 2 weeks' time. And it certainly looks like it'll be an interesting race. ZB showing plenty of form, and obviously not quite the rookie car that anyone thought it was going to be.
No, and it's going to be a fascinating weekend to see if those drag strips at the grandstand and at the far side do provide a noticeable assistance to any of the cars out there. And, of course, it's also part of this Farewell the Falcon tour that everyone's on. And in this case, it'll be Falcons in old Falcon liveries. Perhaps a few Mustang liveries in there, but Falcons in old Falcon liveries is, I think, how they want to play it.
Indeed. There's big things planned, I think, for Bathurst, but more than likely there'll be quite a few on exhibition at Sandown as well. With the ZB, obviously Tail and Bend was the longest track the new car's been on, although the Grand Prix is probably about the same length as that in overall track length. The ZB certainly had form while the Falcons did a bit of winning. And of course it was when Walkinshaw shone with Scott Pye getting his first win at the Grand Prix. But speaking of the Grand Prix, the dates have come out for this year, or for rather 2019, and they've moved it so it's a week earlier than this year. So it's the 14th and 17th of March. And it's I think it's a week or so closer to the Adelaide 500, which is on the last weekend in February, going into the early days of March. So compressing that all a bit, so the Queensland teams again will have reason to complain, as I'm sure others around the country will as well.
I think it's gone from my rough maths 17 days to 11 days or something is the expected change in the calendar. So Formula One have moved their date. As long as the AFL keep it to, I think it was a bye round or there was only one game played or something like that, if that is the weekend the Grand Prix on, then I think that would be great, because you don't want it on opening round of AFL season, because you're back 20 pages in to the daily newspaper before you get your first photo or story of particularly support races as the supercars are on that stage.
Fighting for space in the Herald Sun, that's always been a problem in Melbourne. No other major news affecting supercars other than sad news for Jamie Whincup, who is going to be making his US racing debut at Laguna Seca in a Mercedes with Kenny Bull, who unfortunately has had to pull out because of some illness that Kenny has. So Jamie will have to postpone to another date.